order to do business with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm, and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. It come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on Saieed. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go in a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Dance! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. So in the news tonight, a businessman from Penal has been given the green light to sue Police Commissioner Earla Haywood Christopher over her delay in deciding on the application for a firearm user's license. High Court Judge Mohammed granted leave to a businessman to pursue a judicial review lawsuit over the delay. The businessman's lawyer claimed that he made his application for an FUL in January 2019. He alleged sought to follow up on the progress of his application several times before he was informed that his file could not be located in October 2020. So 1 year after making his application for FUL, businessman was told that his file could not be found in October 2020. Who took the application? Who was in charge of storing? 2 months later, he reapplied based on advice from officers assigned to the firearm permit unit. They claimed that in February 2021, the TTPS conducted an investigation regarding his application when an officer visited their client's business and properties. They claimed that he sought another update and was told that the file was awaiting a decision from Police Commissioner. After he received no response, the businessman made an application under the Freedom of Information Act. Through the lawsuit, the businessman is seeking a series of declarations over the delay and order compelling Haywood Christopher to make a decision within 21 days. So let me get this straight. In 2019 of January, he made an application for a firearm user's license, FUL. In 2020, he was told, October 2020, he was told that his file could not be located. So who is responsible now? Who is responsible for FUL applications from citizens? Number one. Number two, this is an application for a gun, a licensed firearm. Number two, who is in charge of storage and taking care of these applications? Who is in charge of it? What department? So you're going to tell me an application for a firearm user's license in 2019, and in 2020, 1 year after, you could not locate it. So how many like him now are there in Trinidad and Tobago? Is it carelessness? The matter is scheduled to come up for case management on December 5th. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. I'll tell you this, when you're in high office, you could do what you want, you know. You could tell me a businessman make application for a firearm in 2019 and in 2020. Nobody knows where the application went. Nobody could say where the application is. This is 2024. And he still has not received an answer from the Commissioner of Police. It's sad what we as businessmen face in our country, you know. Really, really sad. Home invasion on the rise, robbery on the rise, motor vehicle larceny. You're getting robbed on the street while you're shopping. And I don't understand how Keith Rowley could say that if he issue firearm user's license for individuals, they will turn Trinidad and Tobago into the wild, wild west. I don't understand those statements. when in fact that bandits, illegal firearm holders, they actually are turning Trinidad and Tobago into the wild, wild west. Sad, but really, really sad. Moving along, Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez have stated that WASA will be hiring 9 new managers as its executive team, including a new CEO, a position now held by Kelvin Rumain. He said 9 persons were to be appointed to senior leadership position, and the focus was now on WASA's leadership. So I thought the focus was on water for all. But actually, like they removed that slogan, the focus now is on WASA leadership. Gonzalez justified the change by saying very few people had experience in engaging the wide-scale transformation of a water utility company. He said the changes will happen within the coming weeks. Among the new managers will be a female Trinidad and Tobago national who had gone abroad to work in the water sector. So I was told that the new CEO would be somebody from Ghana. Is that one of the reasons to why Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali went to Ghana? Not only to bring yam and cassava, but also to look at employing someone from Ghana to run WASA. Trinidad and Tobago, keep ahead of this. And you would really know why Saieed Ali went to Ghana. Is it for really yam and cassava? Is it really for this? Because the agriculture sector in Trinidad and Tobago right here now needs boosting, but you want to import yam and cassava. So you want to plant yam by the acres now. We already have yam in Trinidad. We also have different type of cassavas in Trinidad. Waste money, waste money. Boost our production right here. Boost our agriculture sector right here in Trinidad and watch it flourish. The agriculture sector in our country have been down for a number of years with no boosting, no incentives, nothing to encourage new farmers. But you go in Ghana to bring yam and cassava. Trinidad and Tobago, I'll tell you something, eh? We need to wake up. We can't smell the coffee. I can't tell you to wake up and smell the coffee again, you know. Because the scent from the coffee left the coffee a long time ago. A long time ago. So I've been told that the CEO is somebody from Ghana. I'm asking again, is this one of the reasons why Saieed Ali went to Ghana? How much is this individual from Ghana is going to be paid? And what's his knowledge about the water utility company according to Marvin Gonzalez? Because I believe one point in time, I heard an interview where the Prime Minister said even Marvin Gonzalez had no knowledge of WASA and the water company. Sad, boy, really sad, you know. Our country just going down and going down and going down. The containment of the remaining 11,000 barrels of bunker fuel inside the Gulf Stream barge at the Cove has resumed following last week's weather challenges. And a majority of the oil leak. The Tobago House of Assembly revealed a significant volume of hydrocarbon deposits had escaped the wrecked site. In a release, it said the hydrocarbon release was caused by the disturbance of the vessel, likely due to adverse weather conditions. Following a meeting led by the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, that includes the THA and the Energy Ministry official, it was determined that the leak was no immediate threat to the coastline. However, members of all Tobago Fisher Folks Association blame Energy and Energy Industries Minister Stuart Young and the International Salvaging Company, TNT Salvage, for prematurely removing the containment boom from the wrecked site. However, Young denies this, noting that the boom had been removed weeks ago and the assistance or the absence had not led to any problem. It's the Fisher Folks' word against Stuart Young's word in this matter. Now, Alan Stewart, Director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, also revealed that the spill has not affected the island's shoreline. He said the ministry has engaged QT Equipment, a global consultant specializing in oil spill response and prevention. In cases of another spill due to the predicted inclement weather, Alan said all stakeholders are on standby for any further leak. So hopefully Trinidad and Tobago in the coming weeks, this will all be cleared up in Tobago and probably the Fisher Folks could go back to enjoying their life. They were hit for some time now, a lot of damages. A lot of fishermen couldn't go out and cast their net, earn a salary as we would see. But nevertheless, in the coming weeks, we hope that this could change. So we are going for a short commercial break, viewers, but when we come back, we're going to hear from the Prime Minister concerning the SSA probe. After this.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday. Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid upfront. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union, Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
So welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. There is no complaint or completion date yet for the auditor and a review of the Strategy Service Agency SSC, which is now expected to go on for some time because the scale and scope of the exercise, according to the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. The PM gave a response after UNC MP Indarsing asked if an extensive review and audit of all personnel within the SSA have been completed after Major Roger Best was terminated. Rowley replied that the audit and review is an ongoing, but there are many phases and he expects it to be going on for quite some time because of the scale of the exercise. Indarsing also asked if the findings will be shared with Parliament Joint Select Committee on National Security when the probe is completed. Rowley in response said, there is a JSC going on the OAS on the Point Fortin Highway matter that the opposition had no interest in, and added that he was surprised to hear him ask about the Joint Select Committee on National Security Matters. It is of importance to Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Keith Rowley. We're talking about security. We're talking about security breaches. We are talking about a highway. Highway is where car and trucks and motorbike run on. But security, it is a serious issue in Trinidad and Tobago at present. So it's not a matter that the UNC not interested in the highway. We are in Trinidad and Tobago right now. They are interested in security in our country. How is our security beefed up? Is our security good in Trinidad and Tobago? Do we have proper management in security? Is our security in Trinidad and Tobago worthy? Listen to the Prime Minister.
The audit and review, as described in the question, is ongoing, but it has been in very many phases. And while it's still going on, we expect it to go on for quite some time because of the scale and scope of the exercise. We have a Joint Select Committee going on the OAS matter that my colleagues on the other side have no interest in and do not come to the meeting hoping that we get no quorum. So I'm surprised, Madam Speaker, to hear him asking about Joint Select Committee for National Security Matters. I am giving you no undertaking on a report I have not seen because it's a matter of national security, and I will only bring to the Parliament appropriate, serious information that can be brought and made public in the Parliament.
You know, I'm even surprised that the Prime Minister would say something like that, you know. Then he is the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine that's the kind of statement you make. That is the kind of statement you will go in Parliament and make. Security is everybody's business. What is going on with our security in Trinidad and Tobago presently? Do the security management have control over security in Trinidad, in Tobago? Do we get proper heads up? Rodney Charles also questioned why the SSA wasn't able to identify the gangs in Trinidad and Tobago while a foreign blogger could do so after 1 week in TNT. In reference to Canadian Christopher Chris Muslis Hughes interview with alleged gang leaders recently, Rowley noted that he is in no position to say what the SSA tells the police and what the SSA knows and shares with the police. Listen.
Madam Speaker, I know my colleague from Naparima is desperate to raise his profile among his colleagues, but he is in no position to say what the SSA tells the police and what the police knows and what the SSA knows and shares with the police.
Now, I'll tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. Being the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago, I will tell you this. You have to be on top of your game. You have to know what is taking place with security in your country, in your office. What are the do's? What are the don'ts? What is the performance of the security officers in our country, especially who are being paid with taxpayers' money? Recently we heard that the police bulletproof vest, the time expired. Is Keith and his ministry aware of this? I am aware. Are you aware of this? Police officers, they are aware of it. Bandits also have knowledge of it. So I expected better from Keith Rowley, not as the Prime Minister, you know. Not as the Prime Minister, I wouldn't hold him to that task. But being the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago, you have to be on top of your portfolio. You have to be ahead of the game, as we would say in street terms. You have to be ahead of your games. It's sad. It's really sad. But moving along, staying with Keith Rowley. Now, he is calling on the opposition to support the Whistleblower Protection Bill 2022 in its present form, or he will have it amended and passed with a simple majority vote. But they have been doing that all the time. They did need the UNC to pass whatever it is they need passing. They would amend it with a simple majority and pass it. Now, saying the law is needed, Rowley added that corruption in Trinidad and Tobago is not just old talk, and that allegations of corruption are not just allegations. In many instances, they are supported by disturbing pools of facts. Listen to the Prime Minister.
When we came into government, we were able in many situations and many instances to provide the proof of the corruption that so disturbed the country. As a matter of fact, we had information about the numbers in dollars and cents in some instances and the persons involved. Suffice it to say, Madam Speaker, that some of those investigations involved members of the House, some of whom are in the House today and may take part in the debate. But the bottom line is, Madam Speaker, corruption in Trinidad and Tobago is not just old talk. The concerns about corruption is not just old talk. Allegations of corruption is not just allegation. In many instances, they are supported by serious, disturbing pools of facts. And that is why, Madam Speaker, we know that there are a lot of people who know what is going on in virtually every instance. You will hear people say, everybody knows what's going on, but the police doesn't know. But somewhere, Madam Speaker, there are people who have information that could assist the nation in creating a better climate of honesty and high integrity.
Sometimes I do have to laugh when I hear our Prime Minister speaking in Parliament. sometimes I do have to laugh. I'll tell you this, I'll tell you this. There's a slogan that the police runs with. If you see something, say something. Now, in Trinidad and Tobago, when we see something, we have to be careful of how we say something. Because our life could be in jeopardy. We could get the house burned down. We could get the car burned down. We could get threats coming back to our family. In some case, someone might get killed. So it's not just easy as if you see something, say something. And sometimes when you do say something now, there is no response to it. There is absolutely no response to see something, say something. So this alone is something by itself that needs addressing. When I go to the police station, how active will the officers get in me seeing something and saying something? What is likely the quick response from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3? How likely it is that somebody would get locked up? How likely it is that the police would reach in time to get somebody in the act? How likely it is that this person is going to face the magistrate? How likely it is? Ask yourself that. In villages today, when villagers see something and say something, they get threats. They get threats. And sometimes the officers in the station would not take you on serious. They would not. It's only when the incident happened, after you reported 50 times, and something happened to you, then and only then, they will come. They might take a day, 2 days to come and visit you, take your report, and we don't hear nothing after. We don't hear anything after it. So the slogan with see something, say something, that alone in itself need addressing. Now, I am not going to talk the police service of Trinidad and Tobago because there are some hard-working officers. Some hard-working officers. So tonight we just want to say kudos to the hard-working officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Now, here it is. With over 2 decades in Parliament, Rowley said, he is alarmed that the country is yet to scratch the surface of the problem. 2 decades. And we are yet to scratch the surface. How come? Why? Why that statement? Rowley even recalled that parliamentarians was kicked out of a church for stealing money and said it is the nature of human being to want more than they are allowed and get an advantage over others. The PM argued that the opposition not supporting legislations because they do not view it as good law. Is a cop-out? If the opposition can identify any issue, he said, then the government will address the bill if needed. Rowley added that this bill passed in the lower house or passed into law will not be an all-out or a crazy bill, but it will contribute to serious upthink by society by creating an environment where corruption will not be encouraged and will not flourish. I'll tell you something. There are all different types of corruption. All different types of. Again, if we see something and say something, the first rule in seeing something and saying something is, how safe are we? That is the first rule. You want to bring out whistleblower legislation, you want to make it into law, but the thing is, how safe are we when we see something and hear something? As a citizen, how safe? Because threats coming back to you. As I said, you might get your car burned down. You might get your house burned down. some member of the family might die. So how safe are we with this whistleblower? Listen to this video.
And what this bill is trying to do is to say to those people who know about these things that you can tell the rest of us through the authorities protected by this law and put us in a better position to hold all these people accountable in the instances that I have just mentioned and similar instances and probably worse. Madam Speaker, this bill passed into law would not be a panacea, but it will contribute significantly to a serious attempt by the society of Trinidad and Tobago to not just scratch the surface and treating with corruption, but creating an environment where corruption will not be encouraged and will not flourish.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to say this, we don't need a whistleblower law or a whistleblower legislation to stop corruption in Trinidad and Tobago. They are the anti-gang legislation and the anti-gang law. How many individuals have been held and charged under a present anti-gang legislation? How much people? How much people? You tell me how much people? So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have a little discussion on the same bill that Dr. Rowley wants to pass in Parliament right after.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday. Become a member of Realtalk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Open a fixed deposit with Realtalk Investments and get 4% on interest, with interest payment being paid upfront. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Realtalk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
So Trinidad and Tobago, I just want you all to hear this video clip one more time. Rowley added that this bill passed into law will not be an anyhow bill or not a roadside bill, but it will contribute to a serious upthink by society by creating an environment where corruption will not be encouraged. Listen to this one more time.
And what this bill is trying to do is to say to those people who know about these things that you can tell the rest of us through the authorities protected by this law and put us in a better position to hold all these people accountable in the instances that I have just mentioned and similar instances and probably worse. Madam Speaker, this bill passed into law would not be a panacea, but it will contribute significantly to a serious attempt by the society of Trinidad and Tobago to not just scratch the surface and treating with corruption, but creating an environment where corruption will not be encouraged and will not flourish.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we had the anti-gang legislation, as I mentioned before. How much gangs or how many gang members were held under this bill? Thousands of gang members are in different gangs, according to the head of security in Trinidad and Tobago. According to police reports, according to FARIS, according to all these individuals involved in security, they know thousands of gang members, they know how much gangs there are. But how fruitful was the anti-gang legislation? Now you want to bring the whistleblower bill. What is that going to actually do for Trinidad and Tobago when we have gangs all over our country? We have a legislation and a bill in place, but yet how many gang members have been held? How many gangs have been dismantled in Trinidad and Tobago? How much? Now you want to bring something that you will be protected under this whistleblower. See something, say something. So you tell me, Trinidad and Tobago, what is this bill going to do for us as our citizens? Paula, good night. Hello?
Yes, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Sorry, that bill with the Prime Minister trying to pass it, that excluding politicians.
I hope so.
That is only for the people on the ground here, right? Now, let me tell you something, right? I want to make this thing clear. I have 2 points I want to bring to you after, right? I just want to make this thing clear what you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said before, they passed a number of bills.
Yes.
Right? And it has no effect.
Correct.
Right? Let me tell you, when he was campaigning in 2015, before he became Prime Minister, you could remember he saying that when he get in office, plenty of the UNC members going to get arrested and going to get jailed for corruption.
Yes.
You can remember he saying all them things, that it's going to have transparency and accountability in his government.
Mm-hmm.
I can clearly remember he saying that on a platform.
Correct.
9 years after now, not one of them may get arrested, not one of them in jail. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Correct.
He's the man running the country right now and nobody ain't get arrested for corruption. So listen, all them kind of gimmick thing, but we set up, right? We set up. We just set up for that. I want to bring 2 things here that happened in my last week's side.
Talk to me.
I went in the Shogunas police station. I hear I was talking concerning the police, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went in the station. You ever walk inside that station and see the condition that these police are driving to park their vehicles? And when you walk in the station, you ever see the condition of that Shogunas police station?
I have been
The station is so dilapidated, side. When you're driving in, I stand up outside and all these police officers coming in to make the shift. And if you see without a drive-through outside, just start telling you, it's like a dirt road.
Yes, I've been there.
In front of the gate. They dig up in front of the gate by the station. They have a big puddle of mud.
Mm-hmm.
They had a drive-through to go in to park up. And that kind of condition that Fitzgerald and Rowley, the big head of the security council, have 3 police officers, the kind of conditions them working on that. So when you order them give you attitude, it's not because they feel they give you attitude, it's the kind of conditions the people have to work on that. You understand what I mean? It's not an excuse. But you should go down there and see the conditions that I work on that.
Correct.
The last thing I want to talk to you about, sorry, before I go, right?
Yeah.
I went in licensing office to transfer a vehicle last week. stick in the transfer line there for nearly an hour and a half side. When I almost reached the pit, you know, a licensing officer walk down to the back gate, open the back gate, gotta call everybody in the line, open the back gate. And a man with a Jeep Wrangler, let the man come in, cut the whole line and drive up to the pit to do his business. You believe that? People sit on that line there for an hour and a half, and when they almost reach the pit, a man open a back gate, a licensing officer open a back gate, and a man come in from my beta home to the back gate, and come up inside and pass the whole line and go on to do his business. And when you go inside the licensing office side, inside you have to wait about 4 hours to get your vehicle, come back to court to get transferred. Listen, it's a simple thing, right? I just want to say this before I go. Right, Clark, stop going and harassing the drivers on the road with half of your staff from licensing office and put the people inside and say, do their work now. Right? So when people like me go inside it, you're frustrating me. A simple transfer of a vehicle we're going to do, you have to wait 4 and 5 hours to get that done, man.
Correct.
And it's real frustrating inside it.
Correct.
Anyway, side, you enjoy it, man.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago Education Minister Dr. Nian Gasby-Dawley have stated that the former UNC-led People's Partnership, PP, coalition government wasted over $3 billion on schools, which it never finished during its tenure. She made a comment in response to a question from Couva North MP Ravi Rathiram about an early childhood education center in Waterloo. Gasby-Dawley said, it was one of several schools which the PP rushed to finish before the September 7th general election, but never did. She added that there was no clear plan to construct any of those schools, and over $3 billion was wasted in that effort. Listen.
This project, unfortunately, is one of the many incomplete school construction projects that were recklessly commenced before the 2015 general election without a plan or source of funds, leaving a cost for completion of these projects in excess of $3 billion, together with claims for contractors for non-payment by the former government for work done on these schools prior to that election in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Now, Gasby-Dawley, you said they spent $3 billion. Now, I want to ask you, under the present schooling system, how many schools did you all refurbish? That when the UNC government got into power, they decided to build schools. Their tenure expired. Party changed. So while they were in power, there would have been construction of schools. They came out of power, PNM came into power. What happened to those schools that were under construction? Project halted. How many schools, Gasby-Dawley, did your ministry finish that the UNC started? You want to complain about $3 billion being spent? We saw many schools that were 95% completed in Trinidad and Tobago, but you all never finished the 5% or the 10% of the schools to open it. Why don't you quote on that? Why don't you quote on that? You want to tell the public how much money they spent, but you wouldn't tell the public of how many schools you all finish. Caller, good night.
Hello?
Go right ahead, you're live.
Hello?
Yes?
This is Real Talk.
Yes, you go right ahead, you're live on television.
Okay, well, talking about early childcare centers.
Yes.
There is one that is completed right by the highway where Amaranth buys before you cross to go to Rima. There's Double Palm. There's the early childcare center fully completed, and there's the bar right there. Nothing was done there. No registration, no nothing.
So this is a complete school with no activity in it?
No activities. My daughter is an administrator, and it hurts her heart to see that school completed and no activities at all.
Thank you for highlighting the matter.
Taxpayers' money going down the drain, including my children taxpayers' money.
Thank you for highlighting the matter, ma'am. So you see Trinidad and Tobago? What I'm talking about? It's sad, you know. She wants to highlight how many money was spent. But you ain't highlighting how much you all completed or how many schools you opened. Caller, good night.
Very good evening to you, Mr. Said.
To you, my friend.
Just tuning in, so I'm not sure what was happening. But anyhow, my take is, I don't know if anybody mentioned it before. The government of the day, any government for that matter, must realize that it's taxpayers' money who is funding and building all these buildings and schools and whatnot.
Correct.
So no government must say we're not opening it because UNC built it, or UNC can't say, well, we're not doing it because PNM built it. It's the same thing they did with Motor Vehicle Authority. They didn't want to open it. They didn't want to open the Children's Hospital. And a certain nonsense is happening. It's taxpayers' money. And one more thing, side. There should be a new law in this country. Once public funds, once the taxpayers' money is being spent to do anything, there must not be no non-disclosure agreement. Everything must be full disclosure, all the best.
Correct. Well said. Thank you, my friend. Well said. It's public money. It's taxpayers' money. And this is what the government of the day or past government, they are not realizing that. When they came into power, they come in with what? They come in to take from the treasury. You're taking from the treasury. Now, ministers ain't taking from them bank account, you know. They are taking from the treasury. Taxpayers contribute to the money in the treasury. Paula, good night.
Hello, good night. I'm calling. Hello.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, I calling concerning a problem in the Freeport Health Center. I don't know if you could do anything.
Go right ahead and highlight it. Right. Highlight it.
Right, the Freeport Health Center since January, they haven't been doing blood work for the patient. Every time they come and give you an appointment to come back, they're telling you that they don't have blood bottles. And I think it's so unfair since January, patients coming and going and they don't have the blood bottles.
So they do have blood
bottles. Yeah, when you come, they're telling you, well, giving you your appointment, but when you come, they're telling you they don't have the blood bottle, so they cannot take blood from you to do blood works now.
So the blood bottle is the little, I think they believe it's a 3-inch bottle.
The little vial bottle.
Yes, a vial bottle. Yes.
Right, where they put the blood in and whatever and things, since January.
Wow.
So I don't know if you could call anybody to find out how things could work out for us, because I mean it's so unfair.
I understand. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
You see, viewers, this is what we need. Call in and highlight the issues that you are facing. This show is not just about side highlighting matters on a script, you know. This show is for you to call in and highlight the issues that you have in your country, in your community, in the police station, in the hospitals, in the schools, in the services that the government offer to you. I call in and highlight it. This is a live program. So when you call in and this program go live, the world is hearing it. The world is hearing it. And this is what the government don't want this. They don't want the world to know that we, the government, that is lapsing in our service towards the citizen. They don't like it. Now, stay with Gatsby Dolly. With respect to the Waterloo School, she revealed that it was 85% complete. That it was, and now 85% complete. On the school she referred to, Gatsby Dolly said the government spent 600 million to complete them and noted that the action of the PP left many communities in a state. And listen to this.
Madam Speaker, what I can provide the member with is the figures that it took the government so far to complete some of the schools that were so irresponsibly half-built, quarter-built. So far, the government has spent over 800 million to complete 15 of the schools that have been left. The Waterloo ECCE, we have all the intentions to complete, but remember, this responsible government has to find the funding to be able to apply to the schools that were left unfinished. What happened there? Madam Speaker, we on this side would not have engaged in such a reckless type of project. And you know what is worse, Madam Speaker? It left so many communities in a state of angst, wondering why their school could not be completed. But it is because there was no money put aside to do that.
Gasby Dolly, you know what I love about you? You would support your Prime Minister whether he's right or wrong. Call her good night.
It's Saeed.
Go right ahead.
A blessed night to you. I would like to make my little contribution. A little reminder about the wrong that these people are doing. PNM, they need to go. This man, Imbert, he stood up in Parliament and said he bought 2 oil rigs. If anybody can remember. 2 oil rigs. Just imagine that. You could spend $1,600 billion in your lifetime, Saeed?
Nah.
All right. Good night.
Thank you, my friend. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Now, Gasby Dolly said they had to find the money. How much money presently are being allocated? How much money went to Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force for officers to go into communities and build what exactly? To build what exactly? How many monies that are being spent on road paving on the highway? And when you're on the highway, you swear to God that you are in a back road or in a dirt road or something. Let's start right there. I understand that they want to shut down the secondary road rehabilitation project. $100 million was allocated to that project, I believe, 2 years back. Now they want to shut it down. Is it that they wasted $100 million? Is it that they wasted $100 million with no real performance? Now they want to shut it down? You see, I will tell you something. You see road paving, contractors, taxpayers being funded those projects, project management, performance, inspection. If we don't have that as the key figures in paving road, we will get tracked as if it's a back road you're running on. I am telling you that. And I am not afraid to say it because I am on the road every single day with my vehicle. Every single day. We're on the highway. And you would swear to God that we are in some back road that a tasker passing through or a farmer passing through. Does anyone from the ministry inspect these roads for quality instead of quantity? This is the problem we have here. Money are being spent for quantity, but not quality. This is a major problem we have. Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan have been asked to disclose the studies and reports he considered in recent. Now, deciding to alter the speed limit for certain roads and intersections. The disclosure request under the Freedom of Information Act was made by lawyers for blogger Vishal Prasad in a letter sent yesterday to Sinanan and the officials in his ministry responsible for the responding to such request. In the legal correspondent, attorney Ram Kelawan claimed that his client is seeking the report as part of a study to determine if the new speed limits were imposed and were unconstitutional. He noted that over the past years, Sinanan had utilized his power under the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act to address the speed limit for certain roads. He added that the most recent came last Thursday when changes were made to two sections of the Lady Young Road in Mova, parts of the Western Main Road, a section of the South Trunk Road, and roads and ramps connecting to Curup Interchange. Sinanan and the ministry were given until July 14th to respond to the request. So viewers, too many things. Now, this is my duty. My duty is to highlight the issues that we are having in Trinidad. Your duty is to call 238-6716 from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. nightly to highlight the issues we have. Now, the reason why I am telling you this is because when we go live, the world is seeing us. And until you decide to make that phone call, to let the public know what is taking place, to let the world know what is taking place in Trinidad, they will not hear it. And I love when you call in and voice your concern. You put ministries on a spot, and I want you to continue doing that. So viewers, I am Saieed Ali. You are viewing Real Talk with Saieed. It's that time again where we will say good night, but a run of this program is from tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And I'll see you back here another night for another live broadcast. Real Talk with Saieed Ali.